Hello and welcome to this session of Groundbreakers Live. I'm your host, Javed Mohammed, and I'm very honored to have with us Chang, who is not only the Director of Cloud Customer Experience, but she's also the Chairperson of OPAL, which is the Oracle Professional Asian and Leadership Group. Win, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here.
Yes. And we're having this conversation today in May because May is the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And who better than Win to actually share with us a little bit about it. But before we get into that, Win, I just want to kind of get to know a little bit about your background. So tell us about growing up Asian American and what that was like.
You know what? The reality is that my family were refugees from China when we came. And eventually my family made it, we started in California and we ended up establishing and living in Miami. And I have to say that.
No, I have just think, wow, from coast to coast.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It was quite a journey. In China, my dad was a lawyer, but when we came to America, he became a dishwasher.
Wow.
So I feel that we have certainly lived the American dream, where eventually anybody who has a dream of wanting, at the time we had 4 children. My mom was pregnant with her 5th, and we ended up settling in Miami, and eventually all 5 of us went to college, and I ended up studying computer science. And who knew that computer science with business was a great background for what I do today. So that's kind of where I started. And
all right. So so tell us a little bit about your experience of working in the corporate world. And
sure. So I started my career as a programmer, and eventually I came to Oracle in 1990. And my first job here was actually doing technical support. And I couldn't imagine that there was a job where you got to help customers and support them and help them solve problems, which was to me such a great opportunity. I've always been very customer centric. And so my first job, like I said, was in technical support. Eventually, I moved into sales consulting, which was another opportunity to help our customers. And although I left Oracle a couple of times, I left to go to Siebel. I came back to Oracle and did marketing, and then I left to go to Hyperion and Logical Labs. But you can see this pattern that all those 3 companies that I left Oracle for are all part of Oracle's ecosystem. And when I came back in 2008, that's when I became the key account director for Kaiser Permanente. And yet that was another opportunity to really support customers. And I feel like throughout my career, it's really been a big focus on making sure that our customers are very successful and that Oracle is a customer-centric company. And so having that and that passion of mine of making sure that our customers are successful really was a great mesh. And so today I'm actually the Cloud Customer Experience Director, which really means that we produce the voice of the customer and we share that information with all lines of businesses. And beyond that, we listen to what the lines of businesses are doing to improve the overall customer experience for our, and making it a better customer experience for our most important assets, our customers.
Right. So you have a very rich and diverse experience. Are there, and I know there's probably so many lessons that you've learned, but if there's like one thing you can just share with maybe some of the younger people who are just starting off in their careers or about to, what would that be, like a key learning that you've had over the years?
You know, as an Asian American, I grew up where, you know, feeling like if I worked really hard and just put my nose to the grindstone, that my boss and my executives would all know what it is that I'm doing. But I realized that really, if you are not a great advocate for yourself, that if you're not able to tell your story in a way that they can really see the value of what you're bringing, I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. And I'd really love to impart that to our audience, that you need to be your best advocate and tell your story in a way that allows them to see the value of what you bring to the table every day.
I'm smiling because it resonates so well for me, because that was exactly my attitude for the longest time. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So let's kind of segue a little bit, and I know probably with such a background, we could spend hours talking about your career and the lessons learned and everything. But I want to kind of just kind of move on from there and talk about this wonderful organization that you are the chairperson of, OPAL. So again, Oracle Professional Asian and the Leadership Group. How did that come about?
You know, it's a really funny little story. The boss that I was working for, Yamilet, she actually was one of the community leaders for OLA, which is an internal Latina ERG. And she invited me to be on a panel for the Latina style. And I told her, well, you know, I grew up in Miami and I speak un poquito Espanol, but I wouldn't consider myself Latina. But I thought, why not? If an opportunity comes, you should absolutely take advantage of it. And so I went to the event, I spoke on the panel, and I noticed that the Latina style and the community that they created was so warm and inviting. And it made me wonder, why isn't it that Oracle doesn't have such an organization for our Asian Americans here? And so at Oracle, we don't have a shortage of Asians. There are many, many Asians working here at Oracle, but I find that there's an opportunity for us to help from a leadership perspective to groom and grow our community. So I ended up, you know, partnering with my boss, Yamilet, and several of the other ERGs that we have here at Oracle and learning how to create that ERG here for our Asian community. And that's what really started it. And so within the last we're now 4 years old, and we've got over 22 communities, not only here in the United States, but we've got one in Canada, and we're starting a few in our Asia Pac region. So I'm very, very proud, and we've got over 3,600 members globally. So it's very exciting to see the amount of growth and the fact that we're really focused on partnership, professional development, networking, and leadership development. So those are really key and cornerstone. But over and above that, it's really around raising awareness around the Asian culture. And you don't have to be Asian to be part of our community. Everybody is welcome to come and join us. We're actually having, this coming Friday, we're having an event that's focused on leadership during crisis, because we really want to bring our community together.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I've actually attended a Latina event, even though I am not Latina. Yeah. So, so I think the fact that the charter is open to everyone is really very encouraging. So with that, probably I want to kind of just step away a little bit from OPAL, and you know, and I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit here. So as you look, it could be within Oracle, it could be outside of Oracle. Who are the people who inspire you from a culture, from a technology leadership standpoint? Who do you look up to?
There are so many people that have really helped me to, you know, be the person that I am. Mm-hmm. I actually have this board of directors that I tap into. Sadly, one of a key member of my board of directors recently passed away, but many of her teachings are still within my heart. And Nancy was a huge inspiration, although she wasn't in the technology field, nor was she, you know, in the same industry as us, but she was a true leader. She was, whatever she did it in a very expedient and a very, you know, she really strived for excellence, which is something that I strive for also. Mm-hmm. And then there's another person that's my sister, and she, whenever there's any family issues or family focus, or even when I was making big decisions, she was yet another person. York was my go-to person when I was making that decision from living in Houston to migrating here to California. She was my go-to person to talk about this big change for me. And then the other person that's a key member of my team is Lori Brady. She's actually part of Oracle, and she and I lead the Oracle Women's Leadership together, and she's certainly part of my board of directors. So I think that for many of us, that you don't need one person guiding you, but many people that really help to make you who you are, because it's through those interactions and building that network that allows you to help to cultivate all of those ideas.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I normally think of having, you know, it's nice if you have mentors. So I really like how you kind of broaden that concept of having actually a board So that's really wonderful. Well, Wen, this has been a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for sharing. So wishing you the best of success, both individually as well as with OPAL. So thank you.
It's been a privilege. Thank you so much for having me.